What's up guys, it's ShadowRaven and today I'm bringing you 10 exotic guns we need from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2. I just wanted to let you know before we get into the video that I've never played Destiny 1 and I've only seen these guns online, so I don't have any clips of these guns myself, and if I get some of the information wrong about it, I'm sorry. So from there, let's get right into the video with number 1, the Invective. The Invective was an exotic shotgun that regenerated its own ammo. This shotgun can also hold ammo, wow, just like every other shotgun in the game, but what sets this one apart was its ability to regenerate ammo. Now I don't know how this gun would be in today's sandbox. I feel like this would kind of be the only gun people would use, at least in PvP, so they can have that excess amount of shotgun ammo, because I know people love just sliding in there and getting their one-shots. Conditional finality.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Now, it would be fun to use this gun in PvP in Destiny 2, but I think this one should say locked away in Destiny 1. But speaking of regenerating ammo, that brings us to number 2, the Icebreaker. The Icebreaker is one of Destiny's most famous and beloved guns from Destiny 1 because of its ability to regenerate ammo. It doesn't matter if you have infinite ammo in PvP or you're one-shotting oracles in Vault of Glass, this sniper was one of the most loved snipers in all of Destiny. Now I don't know if this sniper was as loved as the Gjallarhorn, but it was definitely one of the most loved snipers in the game, and I don't think it is coming back anytime soon, just like a lot of the other guns in this list. And that brings us to number 3, Zahalos Supercell. Zahalos? I don't know how to pronounce it, but this arc auto rifle would chain lightning between enemies if they were in close proximity to each other. This gun was no doubt a staple of ad clear in Destiny 1, but with arc options we have now with Trinity Ghoul, Centrifuge, and Risk Runner, I feel like it'll get outclassed a little bit, but with these 3 guns you have to do something to get that arc lightning going, like with Centrifuge having to run around and get it charged up, with Risk Runner having to be hit by arc damage, and with Trinity Ghoul having to kill someone with arc damage, being that you have the catalyst for Trinity Ghoul. Now I would love to see this gun back in Destiny 2, and especially if we have a artifact that works really good with arc, I feel like this gun would easily become the new Sunshot. And now, number 4, the Nova Mortis. If you didn't already know, the Thunderlord had a Void sibling that was sadly left in Destiny 1. Now this gun, instead of shooting arc lightning, would shoot void. Honestly, I don't know why Bungie decided to leave this in Destiny 1 and not bring it to Destiny 2, but I think it has so much potential in Destiny 2, and people already love Thunderlord, and it has really good damage. Now I think it'd be great to have a void version of it that we had in Destiny 1. I think it'd be really fun to use. But this gun is just like its other sibling, number 5, the Abandon. Well, this gun really lived up to its name. This gun was like the other 2, but instead of shooting arc or void, this gun would shoot solar. It would be great for this gun right now because solar is one of the best subclass across all the classes, and especially with the artifact perks right now, which make it even better. And I think it'd be really fun to just mow down ads with the machine gun version of Sunshot and add Scorch to bosses, and Scorch damage can really stack up, and especially if you're in harder content. That's why Dragon's Breath is one of the best rocket launchers right now. But it seems like this gun will always live up to its name because it's going to stay abandoned. Number 6, Patience and Time. This sniper rifle would make you go invisible when you crouch, and being this was a time before Invis Hunter, it was a great gun to use, and especially because Nightfalls were a lot harder than Nightfalls now, and I could see a lot of people using this in Grandmaster Nightfalls because people like to sit far away, and even I like to sit far away and poke with my Polaris Lance. Now this gun might have some bad complications in PvP because people sitting in the backgrounds of maps just crouched and invisible. I think it would be bad because you would just get sniped in the face before you even get a chance to react. I think there would need to be like a timer on it, at least in PvP. I don't know if it would be the same in PvE. I know that Invis is a little different in PvP and PvE, so I think this gun would be great to come back, and I think people would really like to see it again. Number 7, the Young Wolf's Howl. Young Wolf's Howl was a sword that you got from Rise of Iron, and this sword would unleash solar eruptions that would weaken and deal damage to enemies over time, basically just a Destiny 1 version of Scorch. I think this sword would be cool to get from like a quest that Lord Saladman sends us on to retrieve this lost sword that we lost back when Destiny 2 started and the Red War. So I think it'd be kind of cool to like rummage through like the D1 tower or maybe even Fellwinter's Peak to try and find this sword again. There isn't much to say about this sword because it's a pretty average sword, and a lot of other swords can do it too, but I would still like to kind of see it in the game because I've never played Destiny 1, and because Bungie doesn't want you to remember Rise of Iron because of the implications it had, and they could prove that they could do a big expansion, a great expansion with a small team. So I don't think this gun will ever come back because they want you to forget about it. And for number 8, I'm putting Red Death. And I know this is coming back sometime in the final shape. I don't really know when. Hopefully at the start because I really want this gun. And we already have its little brother Crimson, which does the same thing as it did in Destiny 1, but in just a hand cannon form. So I don't really know what this gun is going to do. So I thought I would add it to this list and kind of talk about what it might do. Because I know that a lot of pro players don't like this gun, at least in PvP, because keyboard and mouse players, the reticle just jumps in front of it. And as you see in this clip, I'm using the Crimson because I love the Crimson. It is my favorite gun when it comes to PvP, PvE, harder content. When you're lower light level, it can really help because it'll heal you instantly, and maybe you don't have good enough builds when you're just starting out. So I'm on a rant about the Crimson, but the Red Death, I think it should do the same thing. I really do want it to just be the pulse rifle form of it like it was in Destiny 1, but unfortunately I don't think it is going to be that. But if Bungie does do that, I will be very stoked because I really want to mess with people in this gun in Crucible because I personally like the pulse rifle form more than the Crimson form. And I feel like a lot more pro players would use Red Death if it did the same thing because the Crimson's reticle jumps in front and you can't really see without aim assist. That's why it's like goated on controller, which I play on controller, so I really like it a lot. But I would still love to see this gun in this game. And I'm really excited to see what they'll do with it. And for number 9, I'm putting the Kvostov. And technically this gun is already in the game as the first gun that you do get when you become a new light into Destiny 2, which I feel like it has a soft spot in everyone's heart because it is the first gun you ever get. But in Destiny 1, this gun was an exotic form alongside its gray form. And this gun, you could basically change every part about it. And I don't know how that would work now because with crafting, you can basically put any perks that you want on it and basically make it your own. But what stands out with this one that I've noticed is like the sights, the rate of fire, how it fires. So I'm interested to see how they'll do this in the final shape because this is coming back in the final shape. Bungie did announce that back when they did the live stream before Season of the Witch. And I'm super hyped for that too because I really do like the look of the gun. And me and my friends did do a grays only like PvP challenge when we were fighting other people and like supremacy, and it was super fun. And we were using the Kvostov, and I just liked the way it sounded, the way it looked, and everything. And it's a shame that we can't use it because it's a gray. I mean, you can use it if you want to get slaughtered. And YouTube, please don't demonize. I'm just kidding, but I really am excited for this gun to come back and see what they'll do with it. And I feel like it's gonna become a crafted weapon because it's basically a perfect picture of crafting in Destiny 1 because there was no crafting in Destiny 1. And now we're moving on to our final weapon, number 10, the Pocket Infinity. The Pocket Infinity was basically just an AR fusion rifle because every shot that you missed, you would get refunded back into your magazine. So you could just continuously keep shooting as long as you're holding down the trigger, I think. But I don't really know about that. But I know a lot of people were irritated with it because it would just fire and fire. So you would easily get kills because it would just reload your gun. Not from reserves, but it's kind of like rewind rounds. Yes, I said rewind rounds. Realistically, does anyone know how to say rewind rounds? I feel like when you try and say it fast, it just rewind rounds. But this gun was basically rewind rounds on steroids because it would just refund every single piece of ammo that you missed on a shot. So you could basically just keep running around, and if enemies were close together, just keep firing and firing and firing, because if you miss shots, you can easily line them back up because it reloaded your magazine. And I feel like this gun would be so easily abused in PvP like it was back in Destiny 1. I've heard a lot of stuff about this gun, and I really want to play with it because it just seems like a cool idea. Like rewind rounds on steroids. It sounds great. And people are already saying that fusion rifles are a no skill gun in PvP, and this gun would literally make it a zero skill gun. I feel like a lot of like bad players would just run around and just use it, and they would get flamed because of it. And I know I've talked a lot about PvP with this gun, but I do think it would be cool in PvE too because of its damage potential maybe, and if they would like tweak it a little bit so it would do really good damage. I feel like it really could easily become one of the best guns for boss like damage phases in dungeons and like other harder content. And I feel like it would bring us back to the days when Well of Radiance used to reload your guns over and over again when Mountaintop was way overpowered. And Bungie, if you're listening to me, bring that back to Well of Radiance. I want it so bad so I can use my Mountaintop just like we did back in the day with Leviathan. Wait, was it Leviathan? I don't know. That one raid with Callus when he was stuck on the thing above the moon. Which I do think that would be a good raid to come back. I know they're unsunsetting every single gun in the game come Final Shape, which is crazy. So Bungie, if you can bring back every single gun in the game, then at least bring back some of these guns on this list. But if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and hit subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what guns you want to come back from Destiny 1 or some cool exotic gun concepts.